Okay guys, just want to show you a little project I did the other day. I've been woodworking for a long time, 25 to 30 years, and I've never had a router fence guide, never. But after watching Alan do some on one of his videos where he was making the table for Jerome Little's table saw, his outfeed table. I said, you know, I think I got to try that. So I came down to my shop and decided I was going to make myself a router fence, adjustable router fence. So here's what I came up with. Mine is a Porter Cable 7529. It uses 5/16 diameter steel rods that fit into the base. They're 4.5 inches on center, and they're from the bottom of my router base to the top of the shaft is about 9/16 of an inch. So those are kind of critical dimensions that will be different on your router, I'm sure. Unless you have this router, then you're fine. That's what they are. So all I did was took a piece of cherry I had. It's 13 inches long, 4 inches wide. This is about 2 inches from here to here, and then I just clipped the corners, and this dimension right here is about 6 inches. Drilled 3 holes. I shows 5 here, but the 2 on the outside were in the wrong spot. I was just doing this on the fly, and they ended up lining up with the hole here for the shafts. It was just dumb luck, so I had to move them in a bit here. I also created this recess here for the base. As it turned out, I didn't really need to do that because once I added this outer fence, that gave me plenty of room. I guess if you wanted to use this thing to do rabbets, then you would need to do that as well. Either that or make your base a little bit wider so you have that clearance. So Baltic birch, cherry, maple, some more Baltic birch, and then this is a piece of scrap from some wood that I had been cutting up for a different project. That's just pallet wood. I don't know what it is. It's very, very hard though. Might be live oak or I don't know, but it's a hardwood. So 4.5 inches on center, these grooves. 4.5 inch on center, these 5/16 holes, and then these grooves are just a hair under 5/16 of an inch deep. They're 5/16 wide, but a hair under 5/16 of an inch deep, so that when I clamp this down, it gives me that pressure on these rods to lock this from moving in and out. Just like a toilet bowl bolt. It's got a little flange on the bottom here to keep it from spinning once you run the hole through there. And that's all there is to it. This just mounts on here like that. Slide it up into whatever position you're looking to do, and then lock it in place, and that doesn't move. The thing that I have here is, after I made this, I was setting it on my work table like this on the top of my router, but you can see it becomes heavy to this side. It wants to tip over, so I was constantly trying to hold it, and then I just came up with this idea of making this saddle. So now I don't have to do that anymore. I got my hands free to work on here, and it's great that this works out great. So the saddle is nothing more than another piece of scrap plywood. It's 10 by 10. It's cut up from an old project, an old tabletop that didn't quite work out. So I cut that. These uprights are 3.5 by 8, I believe. Let me just double check that. Yeah, 3.5 by 8. I take that back, 3 1/4 by 8. Mortised And then these have tenons on them into these mortise, into this piece of plywood. They're good and solid, they're not moving. Again, some pallet wood scrap. This is oak. 1.5-inch diameter hole drilled in here. I don't remember that dimension, but I think it's, yeah, it's probably 1.75 on center. And then I just clipped out the waist with the bandsaw to make the 2 saddles. It's not perfect, but it works. I mean, these are not tangent, you know, they're just clipped out, so they're a little bit narrower. So that's how that works. That holds your router in place, allows you to adjust your fence in and out, and then you can set it. Now, the one thing I do have here, let me take this off so you can, or slide it back. There, you can see this better. Is this setup right here? This is a 3/8-inch spiral bit that I have. I've got a 1/2-inch steel shaft that fits in my collet. So that I know is center. When I bring this up, when I bring my fence up now, and I lock it down here, if that's the dimension I want, is a 1/4-inch center from the fence, that's it, I'm done. When I made this mortise, and this tenon to fit, this piece of wood is probably 7/8 of, 7/8 of an inch wide. I made my mortise first using this fence guide. I wanted the edge here, then I wanted 3/8 of an inch, and then a 3/8 mortise, so a 3/8 offset on my mortise. So knowing that means this center line right here is 3/8 plus 3/16, or 9/16 of an inch. Okay. So knowing that, I have already established that this is a 1/4 of an inch from the center of this shaft to the face of my fence. I need 5/16 more. Taking a drill bit, a 5/16 inch drill bit, I put that in here, between here, bring up my fence, lock it down, and there we go. It's hard to see that. Let me do this. Turn this around. There. So now I know that my fence is a little tight. I'm going to loosen this up a little bit here. And then this is the part that you have to know your equipment. When I lock this down, my fence tends to kind of lean forward just a little bit. That's too much. There we go. So now I know I'm 9/16 center, and I can put my 3/8 inch bit in there. So if I remove this shaft now, drop in my 3/8 inch bit. I'm just going to finger tighten this, but I would use my wrench here to tighten that. You can see the beauty of this saddle holding that there. I didn't have to just hold my collet in place and lock it. It was no trouble at all. The next thing to do then would be to set the depth. Bring it over to the table, zero it out. Put a 3/8 inch drill bit in between here to set the depth to cut, or whatever depth you want, 1/2 inch, whatever, and you're ready to go to work. So pretty slick and easy. Let me put this in here this way again. Like I said, I've used it a few times just doing some test mortising, and I am now a new member of the church of using router fence, an adjustable router fence guide to cut mortises and maybe do some other things too. But you can see what happened here. I wanted a 3/8 inch offset mortise. I cut my tenon to match, offset on my tenon jig. So you can see that it's offset here, 3/8 of an inch. Drop that in there, and there it is. This is flush, and it's a very simple way to do things. Using that tenon jig that we have for our fence, I register off of one face and make my cuts, and worked out just fantastic. So if you want to make yourself one of these, I've got some plans drawn up for this, and you'll have to make the adjustments so it fits your router, but you get the basic idea how things work here. And then get yourself a piece of shaft. You can probably, I don't know where you can come up with this, but if you can come up with a little 6-inch or 7-inch piece of 1/2-inch shaft, work off your center lines, your center point to here. You can dial in your offset that you need, set your depth, and boom, ready to go. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this little short video maybe inspires you to build your own setup like this and become a little more efficient at making mortise and tenon joints. Thanks again. See ya.